The draft is getting ever closer, and after that Trevor Zegras trade, who are the Ducks going to pick with that 10th overall pick? Well, I'm going to get into my top 3 of who I think they're going to pick. That and more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome, everydayers. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan, and I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But today, we're talking about the Anaheim Ducks, and we've got the 2025 NHL Draft just around the corner. We've talked about a few prospects that the Ducks could target, but today, after the Zegras trade, I kind of want to narrow it down and give you the 3 players that I think general manager Pat Verbeek is going to target with the players available most likely at that 10th overall pick. So the 3 players that I'm going to get into today that I think general manager Pat Verbeek is looking at based off of how he seems to be trying to build this team, I go with Roger McQueen, Jake O'Brien, and Radim Mrtka. So first, let's get into Radim Mrtka and how I think he can fit into this Anaheim roster. So the Ducks need depth in the right side of the D, at least with right-handed defensemen. Not a lot there right now. Helleson and Tristan Luneau are about the only right-handed shots in the prospect pool at this time. So if they can go get a big right-handed shot, that would definitely help bolster up the young defensive prospect pool. He's a bigger player, definitely plays the style that Pat Verbeek is looking for, so I could see him cracking the Ducks roster fairly soon if they do go with him at the 10th overall pick. So he's not only a right-handed D, which the Ducks need, he is 6'6". All right. Big, massive body for the back end there. 198-pound skater, just an absolute tank in the back. And with the Czechia style of play, you know this is a guy that's going to come in and just be an absolute madhouse. Look at the recent Hall of Fame inductees, Zdeno Chara. You've got Pasternak. You've got the Anaheim Ducks goaltender Lukáš Dostal. Obviously, Czechia players have some heart to their game, and they play a certain style of grit and meanness. So I definitely think he would be a great addition to the type of play that Pat Verbeek is looking for in this draft. And looking at the way he played in his upcoming or this last season, he had 35 points, get some, and 43 games in the WHL, and he started the season in Czechia. So to come over, transfer in, and only play 43 games in the WHL, which is not an easy league to play in at that age, 35 points, pretty decent. And from the back end, you got to remember, he is a defenseman. He's getting 35 points from the blue line. That's absolutely solid. He's got a great toolkit as a defenseman as well. He uses his big frame to his advantage, has a good defensive stick, pretty quick with his poke checks, and his angles are completely on point. He's definitely known for being good at closing gaps on players and will absolutely crush skaters if they try to skate by him. So kind of like a Stain Solberg, Radko Gudas look with his style of play. I could see him coming in and just making an immediate impact. I mean, he's probably going to have to develop there for a little bit. Maybe see him come in the 2027 or 2026, 2027 season. And I could see him fitting right in by that point with the way that this guy plays. One thing that's really good about him, he's got great defensive IQ, always scanning the play, head on a swivel. He's looking at where his fellow defenseman's at. He's looking at the forwards coming in, where the goaltender angles are. He's always trying to put himself in the right position, reading the lanes, reading the shots, just everything that you want from a defenseman. Whether, all right, do you take the shooter? Do you take the passer? Do you stick to the far post? Do you go into the corner, try to battle, chase him around the back? He's very good at reading that kind of situation and adjusting to what's in front of him. One thing that is a little bit of a concern, he's not much of a speed player, which I know that's kind of where Pat Verbeek is looking at, but he's great at making breakout passes. So kind of slower on the back end for his first, 2-3 steps. That acceleration's a little slow, but he's got that ability to wing the puck up and hit the center or hit the wingers and get that puck out quick. That's what's going to save him with that kind of lack of speed right now. And obviously with skating, you can it comes with time, the more reps and getting more on a professional regimen of skating. Being 6'6", that might be a little bit of why there's a kind of a slowness to his speed. It might be just more of an eye test where he's got the ability to close the gap, but his skating just looks slow. So some things to keep an eye out there. He does well, like I said, with staying in the lanes and covering the passing lanes, and that's what kind of helps go into that breakout ability. He gets the puck quick, shuts plays down, and then just has that kind of next step mentality where he's already seeing where he's going to go with the puck once he makes the defensive play. He's not really out there hitting people like a Matt Rempe, where he's just making obnoxious hits and kind of chasing guys down. But then when he does make a hit, it's like you got to really be on the lookout, because when he does go for that hit, it's going to crush you. It's going to be a massive hit. He's going to put guys into the rafters when he comes through, puts them through the boards. It's just not the like chase him down kind of undisciplined style of play. So that's always a good thing, because you want a guy that can hit big, but you don't want him to be causing the team to be shorthanded a bunch and suspensions and all of that type of play. So not really a Cale Makar type player, not really a Matt Rempe, just kind of that solid, bigger guy, knows where to be positionally sound, just a really responsible type defenseman. He's more of a play it safe, stay home type defenseman, does well at keeping plays alive. When in the offensive zone, he's good at the blue line, good at pinching when he needs to. So someone I could see him pairing up really well with is like Olen Zellweger. Get those two together. You got Olen Zellweger that plays more of that offensive style, can go up and get involved in the rush, whereas you got more of the stay-at-home, reliable player in Radim Mrtka. So that could be a good pairing there, just to kind of get an eye of how it could pan out if he does make the roster, and if Olen Zellweger is still with the team. Scouts compare his play style and potential to kind of a Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko. So just big, solid, good on his skates, good on his edges, good with his stick, good with his gap control, and with his hockey IQ and size, and through development, working on the skating and just working on those skills that come, and the kind of timeliness of being a professional player and how quickly you got to get pucks off and how quickly the gap is closed on you. I think that he's more of a reward. Like there's a lot more reward in drafting him and him developing than there would be a risk. I don't see him kind of falling off and not being a good player. There's definitely going to be some upside, and he's going to develop pretty well. And with that fast pass first ability, he would be a good asset to special teams as well. And the Ducks definitely need to bolster up their power play. They've had a massive issue with special teams, and whether it's on the power play or even on the penalty kill, to have that size and that stick, it's going to just work out really well, and he can control pucks at that blue line. So look for him to be a power play type player as well for that defensive unit when it comes to special teams. So definitely a well-rounded personality, a well-rounded player. He's got not anything crazy flashy, but definitely a good player for that 10th pick where he's in that top area, but he has some development to add to his game. And to have that right-handed shot as a defenseman is absolutely needed for Anaheim at this point. But another player that I think the Ducks are going to go for and kind of fits in with moving Zegras is getting a new center, because they do need to get, they have a pretty good center set up now, but some of those positions are filled by veterans. So if they can get some guys developing at that younger stage when guys move out, I think the next two players I'm going to be talking about, they're centers, and we'll get into why I think they'll fit in after this. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNHL and use code LockedOnNHL to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL and use promo code LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, and manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. So the Locked On prospects conducted a mock draft, and they had the Ducks landing on Jake O'Brien. So he has a potential to be a top 5 forward and would help add depth to the center position for the Ducks. O'Brien is considered the best playmaker of this draft, and after moving a player like Zegras, considering that's who I have him as a comparable, as that he's much like Trevor Zegras was during his draft class. Trevor Zegras was 9th overall, 10th overall here with Jake O'Brien, and he's a little bit bigger and a little more solid of a player than Zegras. So this could be someone that Pat Verbeek is looking for to kind of fill in that Zegras gap now. He plays for the Brantford Bulldogs, and in the 23-24 OHL season, he had 13 goals, 51 assists, and 64 points in 61 games. In the 24-25 season, he had 32 goals, 66 assists for 98 points in 66 games. So an absolute improvement from one season to the next. So clearly he's getting he gets the speed quick. He gets the play style well. He adapts. And after getting a little size on him, he played a lot better. So he's a player that I could see coming into this roster in the next year or so as well. If he puts his playmaking skills and adapts to that NHL speed quickly, you could see him breaking into an NHL roster pretty quickly. He's a June birthday, which I'm all about because my son, he's a June birthday. His birthday was actually this last week. 14 years old. God help me. He's not my son, but Jake O'Brien is 6'2", weighs 172 pounds, and will definitely get bigger as a pro. That just comes with the gym. He's kind of a lanky guy right now, but throw him in the gym, start making him throw some weights around. That'll all come as he gets older as well. He's a right shot center, was marked was ranked in 5th for points per game in the OHL. So an absolute mine for the net, whether it's him scoring or him helping out his player score. So he's a good teammate guy, more of a pass first mentality than a shoot first, but he definitely has a great shot as well. He's not the fastest get up and go skater. Doesn't really have, kind of like Mrtka, where he doesn't have the first, 2 steps, first 3 steps speed. But once he gets up into speed and he starts really moving along, that's where he's makes up his change, if you will. He makes it up in the constant. Once he gets up to top speed, he's got the ability to stick handle it well. He's got good east to west play, stop and go style hockey. He's definitely got the edge work and the body to protect the puck and get through guys, burn them, and play more of that center type position. He's got great vision, ability to see that kind of third plane. That's something I've been talking about a bit, where you got guys that see, they're good at seeing what's in front of them and then seeing kind of the second guy there. He's got the ability to see past that and see the third or fourth guy, whatever the play that not many people are looking at. That's what he gets to, he seems to spot out and makes that play tape to tape really well. That's going to be a huge plus because Ducks need that kind of quick, fast, depth type player where that he can make those movements and get the puck on his teammate's stick. And after losing Zegras, I'm going to keep bringing that up because it's still fresh in my mind, but they need to have someone that can bring and bolster up the rest of the players on the team. And this is a guy that I think would be able to bring that to the team. Sees all plane, like I said, see all 3 planes of the ice, but he is known especially as a power play specialist. So this is where I think Verbeek is really looking at players, especially after the season and 2 seasons that the Ducks have had when it comes to special teams. It's been pretty god awful, and there needs to be some players that can really get this power play going. And obviously this won't be an impact like to this season right now, but to have guys that can fit into a well-developed power play under Coach Quenneville and to have them come up once guys start moving around and move off the team. You want to have guys that can still continue that good power play type play. And this is one of those players in this draft that would be iconic to have for the power play. The only issue is that, like Beckett Seneca, he could get drafted higher up. A lot of scouts are talking about that. Of all the players, this is the guy that kind of sneaky could move up to one of those higher spots and may not be available for that 10th pick because of his playmaking ability, because of his ability on the power play, his size. He's 6'2", 172 pounds. So like that's a good target for a lot of players. Not too over the top big, not small, just right there in the middle. So of all the players that are in that kind of 10th, 11th, 9th, like middle top pack, he could be one that sneaks up into that top area. So not sure if he will be available by the time it comes to the Ducks, but it would be a good addition. He's projected to be a top 6 forward and is comparable to a Robert Thomas. So that's the kind of play you're going to get out of him. Definitely add to the Ducks' depth and can spend time growing through the minors, through the ranks, going into the AHL when he's of age and working up. But if he were to get drafted by the Ducks, has a good camp, I could see him coming in and getting some play time pretty quickly. So we'll see. But the guy that I really, really think that Anaheim's going to target, and the one that I really feel like it all signs point to yes, at least that's the energy I'm getting. That's when I think about it, is Roger McQueen, and we'll get into why after this. So that third and final player that I'm going to talk about this episode is Roger McQueen, the unconfirmed cousin of Lightning McQueen. Yes, that's correct. He is got some relations there, so we'll see how it goes. Having the cousin down the street over at Disneyland. But all jokes aside, Roger McQueen is one of the players that came out of the combine that I think really could fit into Anaheim, and not just fit into Anaheim because of what he does on the ice, but he just seems to fit what Pat Verbeek is trying to build in Anaheim right now. The way that he's going, I think the Zegras trade and the Kreider move, those two movements and just gave a bit of a sign of where Pat Verbeek is trying to go. And it looks like he really is targeting the bigger, tougher, just more solid of a team, because he's looking at, okay, if this team gets into the playoffs with the new coaching staff, there's going to be an improvement, but will these guys be able to really match up in the playoffs? Are they going to be physical enough? Are they going to have the size enough? And it seems like he's trying to make the team more into that type of play. I mean, the Florida Panthers back to back set the example of what it takes. Obviously, Edmonton has skill. There are skill players on the Panthers, but it really came down to just everyone playing their role, everyone fitting in, everyone just accepting where they're supposed to be. And it was a absolute team effort. So I feel like Verbeek is really, really trying to get role player type guys and guys that are team first mentality and will go the extra mile to play that 200-foot game while also getting pucks in the net. So Roger McQueen, he really fits that mold. After watching his combine interview and really diving into his highlights and just seeing how his year went, I really like this player. And whether you like GM Pat Verbeek or not, I think bringing someone like McQueen onto this team could really settle the fans down. And I think the fans would find him to be a quick favorite out of this draft class. And I really hope that he lands there, because it's looking like he could go early as well, if not at 9. So right before us, but we'll see how things go. But here's why I think he's going to be a pretty solid guy. He is one of the biggest prospects of this draft class. He's 6'5" and 192 pounds. Definitely one of the biggest forwards, and an absolute frame. Like, he is a tank out there. Canadian forward, can play wing and center, and is a right-hand shot. He's played for the Brandon Wheat Kings for 3 seasons, jumped from a U15 team to a U18 team in 2021. So obviously size a factor there, but the fact that he went from a U15 team to playing against 18-year-olds, like, clearly he's got the size and he's got the ability to play against bigger players. In 23-24, he played 53 games and got 21 goals, 30 assists for a total of 51 points, and had 5 points in the playoffs. Unfortunately, injury took him out of most of the 24-25 season, where he played 17 games and got 10 goals and 10 assists for a total of 20 points. So you truncate that over an entire season, that's more than a point per game. So still generating offense. That's where some teams and some of the pundits out there are a little concerned. Is the injury, is his back going to be okay? Is he actually ready? Is this going to be a lingering effect? Do we want to take a risk on someone who's already had this type of injury? Is he going to be injury prone? But from what I'm hearing from the docs and what I'm hearing from scouts is that everything's good to go. He did great at the combine. He's feeling good. He's feeling healthy. He had a good return to the team, and he's going to be a developing great player. I'm sure that injury comes from moving up from a U15 to a U18, and you keep going. You're pushing a little extra hard. It was probably a little bit of his body being like, hey, like, take a break, adjust, grow into your body. Then he's going to come in, get the NHL weights, start working out, get that good staff that helps him build healthy, strong muscles. I think he's going to be a great choice for Anaheim, and he's got the green light from the Ducks. Why not go for him? And that might actually help him slide down to that 10th pick, and it would be a steal. I really think that this is a player that if Anaheim can fleece this and get him, it's going to be great for the long run. After the combine, I definitely really liked seeing him becoming an Anaheim Duck. And part of that is a little bias. I talked about this before, but afterwards, like they were doing the interviews and everything, he mentioned that a player that he really models his game after is Ryan Getzlaf. And after hearing that, and you go and you watch his highlights, it's really hard not to see a younger version of Ryan Getzlaf. Got this big, lanky kid out there, toe dragging people, like just making great passes. He's skating around guys. He's got the ability to protect the puck with his frame, but he's deking through guys in tight, outside. Like he's got just a complete package when it comes to his offensive side of the game. His first step acceleration is also a bit lacking, but that's kind of how things go when you're getting into these taller players and more down into the top of the 10. But then again, once he gets going, he's buzzing out there and he cannot be stopped. He will blow through defenders, uses that big body, just uses his edge work. He's got good east to west type play as well. And in tight handling, that's where it's like, with that size that he is and his soft mitts, it's like, how is this possible for that kind of size kid to have that good of hands? Not really a Patrick Kane, but he's definitely up there in stick handling ability and even his ability to score from in tight. He can roof pucks, backhand, forehand, in. Like, go check out Roger McQueen highlights. I am not doing him justice. He is a great player. When it comes to his shot, he can rip a puck from distance. He shoots really well on the fly, and he has the silky mitts, like I said, in tight. It's pretty nasty. Like I'm fairly excited to watch Roger McQueen. Not even if he doesn't become an Anaheim Duck, to watch him come into the NHL. I think he's going to be a player that you're going to want to keep your eye out for a long time because his skill set is pretty unique. I really like the way that he plays. He's one of those players that defenders have to give respect to. That's what I like about it. Like with his ability to shoot and his ability to make good depth plays and to have that playmaking ability, those are the type of players where they can pull the goaltender out because he's got that good shot. And then he also can kind of make goaltenders hesitate because they're looking and, oh, shoot, he's good at making passes. I see that guy coming down the side. He makes guys double guess. And that's what you really want to have when it comes to a big center like that, because you got to respect it. Is he gonna deke him? Is he gonna take the shot? Is he gonna make the pass? You're not really sure. So you gotta give that good gap. And that's gonna only develop as he gets more and more reps at that professional level. So he's got the size, he's got physicality, he's got the hockey IQ, he's got the shot. He's not a little, but he's a work bug out there. He's gonna grind it out. He's gonna play. He's got really high compete level. Just a solid package. This is why I think he would be the best pick for Anaheim. I'm assuming Pat Verbeek is looking at him. I'm sure Madden's over there talking about it. I have all the faith in the Ducks scouting staff. So if they pull out a complete rabbit out of the hat, I will have to accept it. But this is the player that I really think Anaheim's going to go with. Roger McQueen, Ducks Orange. Welcome to Orange Country. Come on down. Come hang out. Strap up your boots. Let's go. I think it's going to be a good draft. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be exciting. Listening to 32 Thoughts this week, he basically said it's going to be a wild card draft. Like it's going to be the Wild West out there. No pun intended that it's in LA, but it's going to be very up and down. I think there's so many pundits, there's so many mock drafts that have certain people going certain places, but don't expect teams to go with that. This is one of those solid draft classes that's kind of underrated and has a lot of good talent and a lot of solid role player type guys that I think the top 10, top 15 teams are really going to come out with a steal of a player that's going to play in the long run and have a successful career. So look forward to the draft. Those are my three players: Radim Mrtka, Jake O'Brien, and Roger McQueen. Expect one of those three to be a Anaheim Duck next week. But if not, we'll talk about it next week here, and enjoy the draft. Check it out. It's going to be a good time. But for now, thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast. There is no offseason, bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter most with the local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you go like and subscribe to the Locked On Ducks podcast on YouTube. Help us out. And if you have any questions or comments, please go to cartalksports.com/connect to reach out. That's KJER talksports.com/connect. And you can get a hold of me there. And I will have your questions in the next mailbag. So hit me up, reach out. And as always, I'm Kyle Carr. Be good out there.